welcome to Createful Art. Today I'm going to show you how to paint this beautiful and very simple rose. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you don't miss out on any of these new tutorials and art lessons that I give you. And let's get started. We're going to make this super simple by using just basic supplies. So I have 5 colors here. I have my cadmium, yellow, my quinacridone, magenta, and my phalocyanne blue, my black, which can be ivory black, and titanium white. All of these colors right here mix to make all of your colors. So if you want to get a color lesson to help you mix and match colors, go ahead and click right over here to createfulart.com. It's one of my free art lessons. So then you just need a surface to paint on. You can use a canvas, paper. I'm using a panel. This is going to give me a nice smooth surface. And I have these brushes. This one's a size 8 filbert. This one's a detail brush, size 4. This one's a round brush, size 5. And this is a flat brush, which is a 1/2 inch, which is also considered a size 9. Then I have my paper towel and my water, and that's all the supplies that I need for this painting. The first step is mixing your colors. I have a certain color scheme that I want to use for this painting. So for the first color, I'm going to be making a background color, which is like a dark teal color. So I'm going to grab my blue here, and to make this into a green color, I need to add yellow. Then I check to see if that is enough, and it's not, so I'm going to grab a little bit more. Then I check it right over here to see if that's the color. And he needs a little more yellow. Ooh, that's it right here. So now I'm going to take this color and I'm going to take my wide brush and I'm going to put it on. And notice I'm just doing lots of different brush strokes. I just need to get it on. And I also used a dry brush. So don't worry about this being perfect. Just have fun and get paint down. I'm going to let this dry and then I'm going to put one more layer over it. To make it quicker, you can blow dry it. And now I'm just going to quickly put on this other layer. So really fast, quick step here. So you're going to let this dry. So to help with the composition, let's start with the stem. So I'm going to use this yellow-green that I made over here. I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. That's going to make it so it's less fluorescent. We don't need a very bright green for this. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white, and that will make it a little more sagey. I grabbed my detail brush for this. I am starting my stem right over here in this corner. And then I'm going to go towards the middle here. Now I'm going to make this come to the stem here. And if I press too hard, it'll make it thick. So see how I made that thick right there? But I can easily go in while it's wet still and just take that right off. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm grabbing this right here and coming up towards the rose. And this one right here is a little curved. And there's another one coming off of this. And I'm going to have a leaf coming off right here. Now I can move to my other brush. This is the filbert. I'm going to grab a little bit more white this time and very easily make a leaf here. So I'm making this part round by going around with my fingers. So I'm using my fingers to twist, and then I'm twisting it all the way around so that it's smooth and comes to a point. And then I fill that in. I add some darker to it right here in the middle, and a little bit more of the green on this side. So a different green, and that adds dimension, and then I'm done with that. Just go down to my round brush, and I'll show you how to do the round brush one. So this I'm just going to outline the leaf and fill it in. Super easy. So I'm going to make another one here. And this one I'm just going to be very loose, fast, and this right here. Trying to like figure out the composition. That's what happens when you don't copy a picture. You have to figure this all out. I'm going to bring this down here. So this right here is going to have a rosebud in it. And I just wanted to make sure it's where I want it to go. So like, be like this. And I want to have that greenery around it. Make sense? So we're going to make this kind of quick and easy. I'm just going to take some white and add some pink to it. And make this white very, very light, and just a tint of yellow will peach it out. That's what we're going to start out first, and then it'll become more pink in the inside. So don't start out with just plain white. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make a brush stroke, and this is going to be very, very loose, so watch how I make this. Then I come in here and I round that out. Now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to add a little bit of that pink right on the edge, just right on this left side. And I'm going to go right up next to this. I'm going to round and then come right up next to it. And now I can shape this other side and pull it in. I'm coming right up to this edge with a big petal. So I'm coming out, coming in, and that's a big petal right there. Grab just a little bit of a lighter color, and I'm going to do this. So I just kind of went across like this. Now I'm going to make one pointy coming down here. Now bring that in. Now I'm going to grab a little bit more of a darker pink. I'm going to go over that with this darker color. So what I'm doing is I'm building up some layers right here, and I can make this as smooth as I want. So now that I have a few of the petals that really make sense and are kind of fun, I'm just going to be really loose with this other part. So just make some shapes, come in here and be playful. So going really quickly and just filling in my flower. This is the fun part. This is where you don't really care what it looks like. You're just getting in some of that shape, okay? So as we get in closer, it's going to get a lot easier. So watch this as it gets easier. This part, I'm going to just pull in some shapes over the top of that. I'm going to grab a little bit of the peach color too. And a little bit chunkier on my brush. Okay, and come out a little bit more with this one. Now I get darker, so I'm adding a little bit more red to it. And I'm going to go around that with the darker color. And then I'm going to take some of that dark and I'm going to bring it out here. You see that break that I gave? And then if you find that you have some shapes that are very similar, you just come in and change them. Come along some of these edges. So just very, very fun. Chunk it up. Chunk it up. Come in here with some of that dark. Pull out. See how easy this is? It's so fun. Okay, now we're gonna make a darker color. So I take some of this black, add it to my red for more maroon. And it is going to turn a little bit purple because this black right here is on the blue side. See that? That's okay. I'm just going around in the circle. And then I'm gonna add a little bit in the center here. And that's it. So I left some of that blue color in the center so that it would create harmony. And if you need to get my reference photo, you can go ahead and get that right over here. Alright, so now I'm going to start with the dark color right here up against the green. I take the paint off my brush and I find a light color on here. I want that like peachy light color. And then I come in here with that color. Here. Okay, but that's not just the only colors I use. I come in here and I blend those two colors together and get a medium color, and I come in here and add that. So there's a couple tones of colors in here. And this one's going to be a little bit more on the rounded side. And then I just go back and I grab one of those colors that's I've been mixing all in here, like just mix, 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 mix. Doesn't matter what color it is. Come in here for a second color. And I just leave. If I like that, I just leave it. I don't play with it anymore. But if I find that it needs a little bit something more, I come in with more. It's never done until you feel like it's done. I'm gonna make another flower. Just right here, coming down and opening up to this bottom part. And I'm going to make it super simple. So I'm going to just round some edges here. And then make that a little bit different of an edge. So that's part of the flower. And then I'm going to come in with some of my light on the very edges and add some shape. So just some kind of squiggly lines, really. It's amazing what squiggles will do. So I want to keep that line right here as a nice separation. So I'll just come in here. So to make this feel like it belongs, I'm grabbing some of that yellow color. I'm going to put it in the center here as if it's opening, you know, the little middle parts of the roses. I'm just dabbing, really. And then I'll grab some of that blackish purple color right in here for some shadow area. So composition wise, I want to change this just a little bit so it's pointing down. Shapes are really important in your composition and where they're going and how they're put together. And if you want to learn all about that, go ahead and get my art lessons. They're going to teach you all about that. So in here, I'm just going to add a little bit of that pink color just right along here. And then, since this is a little bit more dry, I can do this and add it in here. In just some areas. And I'm adding it thickly if I want to. I want that thickness. And it's the darkness in here that's going to make it look really light on the outside. So now I have that purple color. I used the black and the red, and I'm bringing that on the outside. So this right here needs to be tight with all these petals that are going to come out, and then they're just out on the outside. Now I'm going to make some orange with the magenta and some yellow. It's like bright orange. Okay, you don't have to do this step. This is all just because I want to play, okay? You can have as much fun as you want making changes to it so that it fits your style and what you want. So I'm gonna make mine a little bit more wild here because that's the kind of person that I am. Let's make this a little thicker. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of define one petal from the other by going along the edges with some texture. This is just the last step, trying to decide what you want to do. And I'm just taking all the color off my brush and then blending that in. So I'm going to do that here. And then I take it all off and let that blend. And see how it kind of defines that a little bit better. And this is kind of an important step to your flower because otherwise, I mean, you could go with a totally different style and just have it around and around and around circle. But this kind of gives it some more dimension, makes it look a little more realistic. Going up against the lighter colors with the darker color really makes those edges come alive and form. So I just took some of the background color and lightened it up and put in some more foliage, and so that really like makes it look more full but pushes that to the background. So I might even darken this one up a little bit just so that this area is where your eye stays and kind of floats around here, and I don't want it to go off the page. So really this has a lot to do with composition, and your composition has a lot to do with color, amazingly enough. Where you put your values, where you put your colors, it's all super, super important. And the more you play along with this, The more you do this, the faster it becomes, and then it's like you're pulling out flowers like crazy because you just know what to do next. So if you want to learn how to paint whatever it is you want, go ahead and grab my weekly art lessons. They're going to teach you everything that artists need to know to make whatever art that they want. So if you love this tutorial and you want to help me make more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the bell next to it. And then also share this with your friends and family who love art. Thank you so much.